It is hard to imagine what late-night television would be like today if it hadn't been for David Letterman. Earlier this month, he was honored by the Kennedy Centers in Washington for his contribution to American culture. In a rare and candid interview, he talked with us about the business of being funny.
There's something about this time of year. You go outside and, it's that scent of pine and urine. Thank you. By the way, that was an example of the kind of joke that won me the Kennedy Center honor. Thank you.
Congratulations. This is, as Joe Biden would say, a big deal.
Well, yes, it is a big deal. When I first found out about it, I thought something was wrong. So I called people I knew who might be able to tell me how things like this happened, because I was very suspicious, feeling completely unworthy.
Always self-deprecating, often irreverent.
Those steroids, by the way, apparently don't affect your ego, do they?
And sometimes brilliant. David Letterman, the anti-celebrity, has remained a late-night television tradition for more than 30 years.
There was no question in my mind from the time I was 17 what I wanted to do, and I've pretty much done it every day of my life, everything I've ever wanted to do. And I was on television when I was in 1968.
Yeah. At some point, you get in a pickup truck and you drive out to Los Angeles.
Right.
You look around, you see the Comedy Store, and 3 years later, you're sitting next to Johnny Carson.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool.
I have a feeling from your shot on this show tonight, you're going to be working a lot outside the Comedy Store.
Thank you.
Really. I hope you come back with us.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Carson meant what to you?
Well, for a person in that situation, he meant everything. I mean, it wasn't like it is now. The door to being a stand-up comedy or television success was the Tonight Show, the curtains through which you passed to be on the Tonight Show. And he meant everything to me. He meant everything to everybody else who was out there doing stand-up.
The most powerful influence on your life, you think? First, for that reason, and second, because he was the gold standard.
Yes, the most powerful influence, certainly professionally.
Soon after his first Tonight Show appearance in 1978, David Letterman was turning up all over the dial. And within 2 years, landed a show of his own, weekday mornings on NBC.
Would you like a tissue? A
critical success, the David Letterman Show won 2 Emmys, but it was a ratings flop and canceled in less than a year. The trouble executives trusted wasn't the content, but the time slot.
Hi, I'm Mr. Curious.
Mr. Curious?
Mr. Curious? Okay, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. What do you do for a living?
I'm a mailman.
Letterman proved a hit on late night. The viewers and the awards kept coming, including the Peabody in 1991, for, as the board remarked, taking one of television's most conventional and least inventive forms and infusing it with freshness and imagination. A year later, Johnny Carson went off the air, and NBC named Jay Leno as his replacement. We sit here in the Ed Sullivan Theater. CBS came to you and Howard Stringer after they decided to go with Jay for The Tonight Show. Can you look at that now and say that was for the best?
Yes, absolutely for the best. And when I look at that now, I think it also reminds me of some of the worst behavior of my life, my own behavior. And I wish things were like they are now. I wish they were like they are now then.
It's The Late Show.
A new network with an earlier audience brought added pressure to the proven host. You said you cannot understand unless you sit in that chair how you feel the necessity of getting a laugh every minute.
Right. Well, that's interesting. I remember when we said that. See, I don't feel that way anymore. I always felt like the show, I was the central nervous system of the show.
Yeah.
We have, while my name is in the title of the show, I don't feel that need now anymore.
Is what makes you laugh different today?
That's a good question. No, I think what makes me laugh today is the same thing that's always made me laugh. Something silly, really silly, but yet still within the range of plausibility.
Yeah.
Something that, that maybe could happen. We don't think so, but maybe it could happen, but it's so very silly. And that's all it takes.
There we go. Ring.
Though David Letterman may not admit it, he's matured. He is certainly more patient. Unexpected life experiences can do that in an instant.
I've been away for a while.
Yeah.
While I was gone, I had quintuple bypass surgery on my heart.
Oh.
Plus, I got a haircut.
Yeah.
When you go through that, does it change your attitude about work? Does it change your attitude about mortality? Does it change your
change my attitude about mortality, but it did change my attitude about work because from the minute they pulled the tube out, the intubator, I thought, geez, I wonder if I can still work again. So in a movie, it would be where the prize fighter who gets knocked down, it would be the montage where he then tries to get back in shape to get another shot at the title. So I was worried that I wouldn't be able to work again.
Look at him. I know he's smiling, but that medal hanging around his neck, there's a 40% chance he'll hang himself with it.
This whole notion of the Kennedy Honors is recognizing something about your contribution. What Johnny Carson meant to you, you mean to Jimmy Kimmel and others. And do you have any sense of that? I mean, do you appreciate that?
Jimmy Kimmel is a case, and he's been very nice to me. He's a nice kid and been very gracious to me, and to the point where it's made me self-conscious. And I start thinking about what this is and the comparison that he had made that you are to me what Carson was to you. And the difference is, all I really have is tenure. I've put in my time. I don't.
Oh,
I
it's
can't
more
bring
than that,
much.
David.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not one to argue about this because I don't understand comedy, but at the same time, it's self-evident that after you, people looked at these shows differently. And therefore, Fallon and Kimmel and
I believe that may be true.
More than tenure, though. There was something about the eccentricity of whatever it was.
I think it was the vision of the people that I had around me more than me. I mean, we all knew that the charge was to be a different show. And in the beginning, I will admit that I thought I had all the answers for television, and you had that attitude.
Watch out, Whirl.
Exactly.
I'm coming.
Yeah, or if you can wait just a little longer, we'll take care of television.
That's right.
And then
we'll do it. We know the answer. We have the secret.
You realize you don't know the answer.
The sauce is not there every night.
So I don't know if I can rightly, I was in the room. I'll give you that. I was in the room.
In a moment, I love this guy.
I'm so glad you called him, though, Charlie, on It's Just Tenure. I'm so glad you called him on that.